in the midst of the greatest Epstein file release bungle thus far, this past week it has been reported that the most prominent accuser of Jeffrey Epstein, Virginia Giuffre, has tragically committed suicide. From Modernity News, leading Republican lawmakers have expressed skepticism over the news that she ended her life, and many feel the same way. Giuffre was found dead at her farm in Western Australia Friday, with a statement from her family declaring that the years of sexual abuse she suffered had driven her to it. They said that Virginia was a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and sex trafficking. She was the light that lifted so many survivors, and added that in the end the toll of abuse is so heavy that it became unbearable for Virginia to handle its weight. Now, as we said, US lawmakers and members of the public are not buying the so-called official narrative, with this prompting many to return to this post that Giuffre published in 2019. She said, "I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape or form am I suicidal. I have made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me, in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me to protect them. Too many evil people want to see me quieted." It also follows a bizarre post Giuffre made just 3 weeks ago. Here's the Instagram post. When she claimed she'd been in a serious road accident and had just days to live owing to serious injuries. She said that a school bus driver came at her driving 110 kilometers per hour. That's roughly 68 miles. Quite unusual for a school bus to be driving those speeds, and that it hit her car and that she'd gone into kidney renal failure and that they'd given her 4 days to live. The New York Post later reported that Western Australia police described the crash as minor, with no serious injuries recorded. However, have a look at this photo posted by Giuffre herself and let us know, do you think this looks minor? That was her last post on Instagram. This also comes at a time where Ghislaine Maxwell is now taking her case to the US Supreme Court, seeking to have her sex trafficking conviction thrown out. Her legal team argues that she was protected under a non-prosecution deal the government previously struck with Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell, according to the knowledge of the general public, is currently in prison essentially for trafficking no children to anybody at all. Nobody. We don't know which children she trafficked and to who, because none of the perpetrators have been convicted. It's all a big secret. Why? Because under the guise of protecting the victims, it all has to stay hush-hush. The recent bungled Epstein files release under Pam Bondi, which was the first tranche of documents we were promised, featured information that was already publicly available and widely disseminated all over the internet for many years now, with the exception of maybe a couple of documents that people hadn't seen before, albeit essentially irrelevant. These released files were heavily redacted, even more so than the documents we already had for years. Pam Bondi still hasn't made good on her promise to release the apparent truckload of documents that were coming her way, and told Fox News on one of her many appearances that they were spending time redacting matters of national security, whatever that means, and to protect the victims. Well, here's what Ali Carter, who claims she is a victim of Epstein and Diddy, has to say.
Pam Bondi, this is my verbal contract with you. My name is Allison Leilani Ray Carter, and I give you full consent to unredact my name in any trafficking ledger that you find, especially to connect it to any of the islands. I volunteer for you to unredact my name and dig into my CPS files for CPS corruption out of Riverside County, California, Child Protective Services. Majority of the names that you'll find in my Child Protective Services file will also probably show up in the trafficking ledgers. Those ledgers are insanely detailed. I know some people don't even understand what a ledger means. It's what people are considering or calling the Epstein Black Book. That Black Book has information of when a child was sold, where, what outfit they had on, what time, where they came from, if they came from Child Protective Services custody, if they were a missing child, if they came from over the border, if the child is sick, how much exactly they were sold for. Everything is in those ledgers. We're doing a very good job protecting predators. And if you guys can please, I'm begging you to do a little bit of better of a job protecting the children.
Well, it's not just Ali Carter. Other Epstein survivors are stepping forward, making it clear to the world that they are not suicidal. Juliette Bryant, who says she was kidnapped by Jeffrey Epstein over 2 decades ago, claims she met Epstein in Africa while he was with Bill Clinton and is familiar with the Clinton body count. Bryant also alleges that several Epstein victims have died under suspicious circumstances and believes that they are being eliminated one by one over time. According to Bryant, survivors are now living in fear for their lives as their warnings continue to be ignored by the mainstream media. Take a listen.
My name is Juliette Bryant and I live in Cape Town, South Africa. I was kidnapped by Jeffrey Epstein 20 years ago. I am not suicidal and I never ever will be. I also do not do any drugs. I met Epstein when he was in Africa with Bill Clinton. We all know about the Clinton body count. Another concerning fact is that one of the main women, a very brave angel, Carolyn, who testified against Ghislaine Maxwell, was found dead 6 months ago. It wasn't in the media until a few days ago. The only reason it was put in the media was because of a very, very brave Epstein victim. She doesn't want to be named. But there are other Epstein victims who've also died suspiciously. Carolyn was a beautiful, amazing, brave woman who planned a life on a chicken farm with her family. Instead, she was found dead in a hotel room. I want to speak out for safety and for other victims because it's very frightening when the media won't cover any of the victims' stories. A lot of my story hasn't been told in the media, and it's the same with a lot of other victims. And we actually all feel quite frightened with everything that's been going on. And as we know, this is not the first suspicious death related to the evil Maxwell empire. They also used to run the media. So maybe that's why victim stories are not being told to the media, and the victims of Epstein feel very frightened. Please all pray for Carolyn's family. And thank you for listening.
Ultimately, the circumstances surrounding Virginia Giuffre's death are very suspicious. How many victims are out there, as pointed out by Bryant just there, that people don't know about, that die under suspicious circumstances, that are reported as suicides when they may not be? Jeffrey Epstein, anyone? Certainly not calling him a victim, but no one believes he killed himself. If we understand that, why wouldn't we suspect that victims were being taken out one by one, and especially during a time where Ghislaine is trying to get her sex trafficking conviction thrown out, and we still don't have the files? The victims seem to want unredacted files out there for the public to see the horrors that they endured. So why wouldn't we listen to the victims' wishes? Redacting them only protects the perpetrators. What is glaringly obvious is that no one, that we know of at least publicly, has been charged or convicted for utilizing Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's services. We're told it's for potential national security reasons. This is an astounding statement because if there are high-level government officials within the country involved, we need to know. They need to be charged and penalized. If there are external national security interests compromising the US, then we need to know that too. One could argue the national security aspect of it. Fine, I'll give you that. You expose a leader of a foreign nation, for example, and all of a sudden that country's deep state wants to destroy your country. But at what point are we conflating a national security issue with sweeping it under the rug in the interests of foreign policy and international relations? Who could possibly want pedophiles to be running in any positions of leadership? Ultimately, the way to protect the victims is to release the files, and this is what they're all asking for. To be clear, what we're talking about here is human child trafficking. It's on an international scale, and it must be stopped at all costs. As always, when airing your dirty laundry, there will be some embarrassment on all sides. I think we're all grown up enough now to understand this and want this. You cannot clean house until full and total transparency has been afforded to the country, to the victims, and to the population. Are you using your phone or is it using you? The truth is, big tech devices were designed to spy on you. You can change settings and use a VPN, but unfortunately, it still won't stop the leak. Thankfully, our sponsor at Above Phone at abovephone.com/pulse has a solution. Thousands of people around the world like me have switched to Above Phone. There are no ads and zero connections to big tech. You can download your favorite apps privately or unlock a world of new private apps with features you didn't even know exist. Secure hardware protects you and enhanced software gives you total control over your microphone, camera, sensors, data, and apps. Visit abovephone.com/pulse to access exclusive deals for our viewers on Above's privacy phones, tablets, and laptops. And right now you can get an extra $300 off an Above Phone 9 through May 2nd at midnight Central Daylight Time by going to abovephone.com/pulse. The Above Phone 9 strikes an impressive balance between cutting-edge performance, camera quality, durable build, and long-term security update support. With these cutting-edge features, it's no surprise that the Pixel 9 has become Above's best seller. Get yours at abovephone.com/pulse while stocks last. Above Phone offers an incredible 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk, and every device comes with a free 45-minute support call with a real live support engineer to help you make the shift from big tech to freedom tech. Above's team is ready and waiting to help at 1-888-36-ABOVE Monday through Friday from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central, or you can visit abovephone.com/pulse to schedule a call. It's time to take back our technology and break free from the growing control grid. Visit abovephone.com/pulse now to save $300 on an Above Phone 9 this week only.